everyone, good morning. And I am so excited right now. Um, I got the Mimit Tarot, the Bimit edition. So let me explain. Um, this is the box. This is the Bimit, or the Big Mice Tarot by Howl and Ezid. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that. They are, I think, Studio Red Tree on Instagram. So, in this deck, magic, destiny, and dangerous predators intertwine with fantasy and cottagecore tones, painting a land full of mystery and adventures. Arciada, or Arciada, ready to be read one card at a time, one life at a time. So, I first saw this on the Waves of Your Souls channel, Marine's channel, and I loved it. She has the mini one, which is the Mimit, so the mini mice tarot. And then I got myself on the notification for, in case they do another print, and I now have this in my hands. So exciting. um, I wanted to do a walkthrough of this, and I wanted to talk about some pros and cons of the deck, so I'll start with that. um, First off, the box, it comes in a tuck box. It is not the best quality tuck box ever. It's kind of it got chipped up a bit in transit. And it just seems a little more, like a little less sturdy, I think, because it's like opening here, it's not really sealed. So I will very likely be putting this in a wrap. I don't have the perfect wrap for it just yet, so this will have to do. It's an extra one that I have lying around. So the box, not great, but that's okay. It's not the important part. The cardstock is pretty decent. These are extra cards that came with it. It's kind of like a smooth, not super glossy. It feels like it will bow with time if you shuffle it, if you riffle shuffle it. So you may want to take care with that. It does come with a little white book. I think in the Kickstarter edition, it came with like a storybook, like a full color illustrated book. But most of the story is here already. So it's kind of like this. How do I put this? It has a story behind each card, and each mouse that you see in the card has a name, has a backstory. So it's really very cool. And they did some world building where you have like important places. So the Great Blue, the sea that surrounds the land of Arciada. And then you have the four cities. So these represent the four suits. So for example, the Golden Tower would be the suit of coins. The Swords of the Wind City would be the suit of swords. The Heavy Wand City would be the wand suit, and the Coral Cup City would be the cup suit. Then you have some extra places, and they really put in time to build an entire world. Then you do have, I think it's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 extra cards, and this is just to enhance the world building. So for example, this one is the first. So if I go to the definition or the story of the first, the first, Ga lived in a time when Arciada was completely of the giants, when the Alpharan still didn't have a name for themselves and often fell victim to fangs and claws. Ga, twice as big as his fellows, who saw a flash in the sky to the east, and who could not stop thinking about his paws from that time. Ga, who was the first to grab a stone, destroying in a fury a green scale about to take everything away from him. Ga, who showed everyone that they could fight. So it really does have a very cool backstory. I will say that this is a misprint. It's supposed to be called the Navigator and not the Veil, but that's fine. And then, so these are extra cards. The guidebook is really helpful. However, I will say, because the creator, I think that, I think it's an Italian creator. So there are some typos as far as, or some mistakes where I was like, wait, what is it trying to say? I'm a little confused, but I think that's just like a translation issue. And it's really not a big deal. You can definitely understand the story and how awesome of a world they have built. And then you will also see very cool spreads that they included as far as like the tale of Alpharan. So, on what we leave behind ourselves to the promises we can make, the head of Alpharan, the star and muzzle up, the fighter to fight overcome an obstacle, and they have these shapes for the spreads as well that are really cool. So it does talk about how you can use this as a role playing game as well. So it's really really nice. Yeah, it's just awesome. You can roll a six twice if the number equals or exceeds 10. So they had like the thought that went behind this deck is amazing. All that being said, let's get into the cards because that is what we are here for. So I will start. I always have a hard. It's a pretty chunky deck because of the card stock. But oh my god, how cute. So this is the Fool, and just so that I can talk a little bit about the story as well, let me just get into that. The Fool, freedom, knowledge, lightheartedness. And this name, the name of this mouse is Lumino, so called because he was born on a full moon night, but also because he was light-hearted, found a firefly on a summer evening, and since then he was never afraid to wander after sunset, nor to seek the path by himself. And then we have the Magician. So I'm not gonna talk about like every character, but you do have a little bit of like dirt on the cards. They wipe off pretty quickly. The High Priestess, how beautiful. The Empress, the Emperor. Oh, I love the description of this though, so I will read that one. The Emperor, stability, firmness, and protection. Taudus was in charge of supervising the balance between the cities, and one of the longest lived and strongest rulers in the entire history of Archaeada. He had fought one battle, 3 uprisings, and risked his life against more than one feather of the sea. But every time he held a little Alpharan, which is the race of this mice, in his arms, whether they were of the same blood or a son of the wind, his chest trembled with emotion. That's so, so sweet. The Hierophant, the Lovers, and I love that this is like more of a mother and child vibe. But it might not be. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's beautiful. The Chariot, strength. Look at that. That is so cool. And you see how like he's got these little patches of fur that have been ripped from him. At least I think that's on purpose. The Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, the Justice card, the Hanged Man is so, so cute. One of my favorite cards in the deck. Death. Let's see what the guidebook says about death, because that is a card that, you know, there's a lot of interpretations around, and I want to see in this world what that interpretation is for them. So the Death card, the end of a cycle, rebirth, a continuum. She had already accompanied many beyond, since before the first, but it never failed to surprise her how, leaving behind the weight of what they were, those little giants launched themselves by instinct towards what was next. One day, perhaps, she would in turn be allowed to find out. That's beautiful. So it's talking about the Death card as like helping people launch into the unknown, and you can see that they did do it in an illustration that is like a, you know, a mouse dying and then its spirit sort of leaping into the unknown. But the context of, well, what about her? Does she get to experience that unknown? That's beautiful. The Temperance, the Devil. Oh, this is also okay. I'm gonna have to read the guidebook again. I promise I won't go through everything, but this is so interesting. Temptation, negativity, darkness. Zamara was able to offer you as many truths as you were willing to hear. He had learned to distinguish voices coming from a deep darkness, and he read in the embers the worst fate that could await you. They say that, with a word, he was able to wilt even the flowers. It was never known for sure if it was true. No one ever dared to ask him for a demonstration. So it's more about the story for the devil card, but definitely you can add your interpretations to that. You have the tower, the star, oh, the hope of growing something beautiful. I love this moon. It's so pretty. The sun, look at the joy. And like the drawings are so they look simple, and I don't mean that as like, oh, it's easy to draw, but they look simple. But the faces, the expressions, like with just a tilt of a line, you can see the smile or the smirk or the anger. It's really so well done. Look at Judgment. Look at how torn up he is, and then he's like sort of exiting this bramble, and there's this light that's shining through the world. And I guess that would be the symbol of the. I thought it was the symbol of the cities, but then that would be the suits. So not that. Then we are now in the coins, and you can tell it's the coins because of the icon on top. So this is the Ace of Coins. It's numbered, like how they're putting the brick back into the wall. The Two of Coins, interesting, because I would have thought of this more as the Two of Wands in terms of looking for direction, but it's the Two of Coins. The Three of Coins, the Four of Coins, oh, the Five of Coins, the Six of Coins. I say coins, but I wonder if they are calling it coins or pentacles. Yeah, they call it coins. The Seven of Coins, beautiful. The Eight of Coins, look at that mastery and that work. Oh, I love this Nine of Coins. So another take on this Nine of Coins, because it's not so much about independence. You can also see how beat up this person is, or this mouse is, this creature is, but it's so happy, and it's looking up at the sky, and it's surrounded by coins, and I want to know what that's about. Material success, aristocracy, new positive situation. Kla didn't really think she could get through so many blades, traps, and guards, yet she was now in the fields outside Golden Tower with enough gold grains to keep Trusillo's village going for at least another 8 seasons. She took a long moment to throw them around herself, breaking into 1,000. It says sneers, but I think they mean smiles. So that's an example of what I mentioned earlier about just some of the words that may be lost in translation a bit. The 10 of Coins. And then for the courts, you have P for page. And you have the KN for the knight. Beautiful. The Q for the queen. I love this. And the K for the king. I love the king in this suit. So cool. So let's go through the rest of the suits. We have the wands. These are the wands. The Ace of Wands, the Two of Wands. So again, a very unique take. The Three of Wands, much more RWS. The Four of Wands, they look like they've crashed after the party. Like they had a lot to drink. This is cute. The Five of Wands, so there is conflict there. The Six of Wands, I love this mouse that has come in with a fish like, look at my catch. I succeeded. Ooh, the Seven of Wands. This is amazing. The Eight of Wands, taking a leap. The Nine of Wands. The 10 of Wands. Then we have the Page. The Knight. Oh, the Queen. Beautiful. And then the King with the salamander. This is so amazing. Now we move into the cups. So we have the Ace of Cups. I love this Two of Cups. How sweet is that? Okay, I'm going to have to go back to the guidebook and read through that. Where is the Two of Cups? Union, unique bond, estrangement from the surrounding world. Ramo and Sorgente got married that morning at sunrise around a considerable number of relatives and friends, but every time they talk about that day, it is clear from their expressions that one had only the other in mind and nothing more during the celebration. So we now have the Three of Cups. Oh, look at that Four of Cups. I love this because he looks so content. And it's not about being numb, but it's about like being content. The 5 of Cups, the sadness there. The 6 of Cups, how beautiful. Almost like they've grown up. 7 of Cups, I love this. The 8 of Cups, kind of reminiscent of the Fool. The 9 of Cups, getting that honey from the flower or the nectar of the flower. The 10 of Cups, interesting. The Page, oh, look at that, so cute. The Knight, the Queen quilting this sort of blanket of stars, and the King. I gotta say, I love the kings in this deck. They just really are so like how they've been depicted with this sort of frazzled hair and like so much stuff is going on. I love that. Then we have the swords, the Ace of Swords, the 2 of Swords, oh, the 3 of Swords. Let us check that out because that seems really painful. Break up sudden detachment. Lucian and Manula were friends for every day of their lives except for the last one, in which Lucian decided to challenge her to a duel to prove she was stronger. After one too many jokes, she ended up sliding off the cliff, accidentally destroying Manula's heart in the meantime. Oh, that's really brutal. The 4 of Swords, the 5 of Swords, 6 of Swords, the 7 of Swords, some sneakiness here. Oh, the 8 of Swords. This is, ooh, okay, let's look at that too. Terror of moving, request for dynamism, fear. Gintra was surprised in his sleep by the fire, and seized by terror, he ran high up to a ceiling beam. He did not die that day, but he carried the fear of that light and that dreadful heat in his eyes for the rest of his life. That's a great interpretation of the 8 of Swords. Like, it's because of past experiences that you bring yourself back to that place where you were frozen, and your mind is convinced that even if you're not in that place anymore, you're still stuck there somehow. The 9 of Swords, the 10 of Swords. Interesting that in the swords there's these themes of water everywhere. The Page of Swords, I love this. The Knight of Swords, oh, this is so cute. The Queen of Swords, yes, so powerful. The kings really, they crack me up. I love them. He's sitting on a throne that is built from a sword. And that is the King of Swords. So that basically completes this sort of, I guess it's more of a flip through than a walkthrough, but I love this deck so much. It does kind of fan out pretty decently. And if I just pick a card, we have the 7 and the 8 of coins. This is beautiful. So for me, I think this is just telling me that I'm going to have a great time working with this deck. So thank you again for joining me, and I hope that this is helpful. I hope that there is still stock of this, and if there isn't, get on their notification list because they may do a reprint again. I hope they come out with a book again. I'd happily pick that up. All right, thank you for joining me. Take care. Bye.